Hi, I'm going to continue to talk about the multiplication of Christian leadership. Well, the talk I gave during the One Thing Global Leadership Summit 2016 involved a 5-step process of multiplication of Christian leadership from generation to generation. Now I'm going to use a New Testament example to illustrate the first 2 steps, modeling and messaging. As I emphasized before, it is not sufficient for us to live it, we have to teach it. So here you go, we have Paul the Apostle, in a premier New Testament apostle. He was on the missionary journey, and he has done this missionary journey more than once. And in Antioch, Pisidia, he met a family, a very godly family, multi-generational believers, and a young man named Timothy. But Timothy, has a very unusual background. Mother was Jewish and the father was a Gentile. So the first thing that Paul did was, Paul lived it out. He said that in order for you to be an effective cross-cultural or bicultural missionary, I need to circumcise you, because the Jewish people will not receive you because your mother is Jewish. They expect you to follow the law. So first of all, Paul demonstrated that, modeled that, and throughout his life on the apostolic team, Paul modeled for Timothy how to carry the cross of Jesus Christ in the suffering for the sake of the gospel, and how to continue to pursue God in obedience from places to places all the way, how to boldly proclaim the word, how to stand as faithful witness in front of kings and in the prisons, and in many, many occasions you see that Paul sent Timothy ahead of time to prepare the things because he heard from God prophetically. So in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 6, Paul's probably at the later part of his life was beginning to understand that Timothy was not just a regular worker, co-worker. He was a key co-worker that's going to be very instrumental in the leadership of the body of Christ. And he's urging Timothy to stir up the gifts that he has received by the laying of hands. And so this is an instruction. It's a very clear instruction. And Paul did say that for himself, he prayed in tongues more than anybody else, but in public, he would rather prophesy in understandable language. So he himself was praying in the Spirit regularly to stir up the gifts. So he's saying, Timothy, I've modeled that. You've seen me do that. But now I'm reminding you to do that. I'm explaining to you the importance that you have received the deposit of the gifts. You have to stir it up. So in leadership, it is important for us to live authentically in front of the people, privately and publicly. But at the same time, we have to explain why we live the way we live. We have to teach it. And oftentimes in a private way, there are many teachable moments in life, especially when we encounter massive breakthrough. For example, even Jesus, when the disciples went out 2 by 2 and cast out evil spirit, Jesus saw that as a teachable moment for the disciple and said, come down and sit down. Even though you saw Satan falling like lightning from the sky, what's more important is that your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life, rather than all these great and amazing signs and wonders. So every time something happens, we take the opportunity to debrief, to give simple biblical leadership instruction, and that itself will be very precious. So I hope this will be helpful to you.